This episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Webb Plumbing Incorporated, located at 6202 McCorkle Avenue, St. Albans, West Virginia. Webb Plumbing Incorporated has had master plumbers and HVAC specialists established and serving the Kanawha Valley since 1994. 30 years of commercial and residential service that you can trust. Contact Webb Plumbing today at 304-768-4324 for a free estimate or quote today. You can also visit them on the web at webbplumbing.net. Contact Webb Plumbing Incorporated today at 304-768-4324. All right, folks, welcome to another episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls. Folks, I am fired up. Fall is in the air, and football season, deer season's fast approaching. But you know what? The Mountaineers disappointed a little bit last weekend.
Yeah, hoping deer season's going to go a whole lot better than that first game did.
Yeah, no doubt. Good Lord, man. That was not a good start to our season.
I don't understand why they can't just do what works. If something works on a drive, why can't you just keep I don't know, until they stop it, keep doing it.
You don't run up the middle against the best run defense in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, Penn State has one of the best run defenses in the country, so and they run up the middle.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, what's going on?
Especially with the speed we have in the backfield.
Anyways, I didn't think we was going to win anyways, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
So,
right.
On a positive note,
if you looked at the hype though, we should have been amazing coming out the gate.
Yes. That's why I don't think we should do any more hype and just play ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep. But anyways, on a positive note, this past weekend I was able to get my recurve together and get my setup going. Obviously, we've got the great products from Stick Tamer, and he sent me a care package full of all the goodies that I can put on there. So, made right here in the USA, we've got the groove pads on there, got the string silencers, got the Stick Tamers, which is your limb silencers, and all this stuff is made out of it's a hybrid foam rubber that's for durability, and it lasts. I mean, it doesn't take your FPS down. So you don't have to worry about losing speed because they weigh like hardly nothing. So, and they're really easy to install too. So I've just got to get a string knock put on there and some arrows fletched, and hopefully I'll be ready for the season. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I got to practice because I'll be good with a doe with a recurve. I mean, I'll be ecstatic to put a doe on the ground with a recurve.
I think anything on the ground with a recurve.
Obviously, you're always aiming for that buck, but for the first one, getting back into the recurve shoot, a doe's going to suffice.
Oh, yeah. I could shoot a squirrel and be happy.
By accident,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, anyways. Yeah. All righty. So
tonight, actually, we're going to be talking with John Webb, owner of Webb Plumbing and HVAC. This evening, we're going to get his take on blue-collar life, running a business, and the balance between family, hunting, and fishing. So, guys, don't forget episode 117, segment 5 of our Breathe Wine and Culture Company live podcast is now out. We spoke with Keith Tyler and Caleb Currents about Keith's new journey in selling land and preseason prep with Caleb, including our Whitetail Weekly segments. Our first Whitetail Weekly segment has dropped as well. Yeah, so be sure to check that out. On all the podcast places you get it, your Apples, your Amazon, Spotify, wherever, also check out our YouTube too. We're putting everything out there, so yep. We're on all the platforms, guys. We're getting there. We're making something out of ourselves.
Yeah, we're making progress, that's for sure.
We're making progress anyway. So also, guys, don't forget to check out all the great discount codes we got. We use podcast 10 at checkout with outdoor-pro-shop.com. Use On the Limb at checkout with Apparition Scents for the 20% discount off your entire order. and podcast 15 with naturesvoicegamecalls.com. And that's also 15% off your entire order. And thanks to all our partners, for offering these great discounts to our valued listeners here on our podcast. And it's just something we can do to benefit you guys, give back to something for you guys listening to us ramble on.
Yep. Thank you very much, our ad partners. If all the good equipment and stuff that we have, it's because we've got ad partners that help us and support our show. So we appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely.
So you talking about us making some progress, I want to talk about this real quick. You just spurred this in my head there. So I was doing some proposals the other day for other ad partners, and I was sending those out. I won't say who those are yet, but we are close to hitting 1,000 U.S. cities. So
awesome.
We're only
Impressive.
We're only 3 cities away from hitting 1,000 U.S. cities, and we have reached 38 countries around the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
it's not just the U.S., which is awesome.
Right. Well, that's like me and you was talking earlier today. I was searching something, and it popped up. What was it? Dazzle or something like that.
Yeah,
I told you.
Deezer.
Deezer, yeah, it was Deezer, and it's all Spanish. So they have took everything we've said in an episode and transferred it into Spanish. So
it automatically does
you
that.
know, yeah, I guess because we didn't do it. I don't
Yeah.
know how to type in Spanish.
No, it automatically does it, and I've seen that out there because there's that we know of. There's 20 platforms, or about 23, including like you say 20 that you don't know about. That is not as big as Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and things like that. But there's all these other ones out there that don't really get a lot of recognition, and we show up on those as well. So
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, and the more people that listen, the more it gets out, and the more people share. So we appreciate everybody doing that as well. So Dan, you've got did you get your exothermics there? Did you get them cut to length, and you've been shooting those?
I did get them cut to length, and actually, funny story on that. I got them cut to length up here in Missouri at this Parker Outdoors, and the guy looked so familiar to me as I'm in the shop talking and letting him cut my arrows and everything. And I'm like, man, I've met you somewhere. Don't know where, don't know how, don't know why. And we got to talk a little bit more about the ATA. And I told him, I was like, yeah, we was at the ATA, and I was helping with Hunt Chef. He was like, oh, we was at that booth like 5 times. We bought all kinds of stuff from him. I'm like, that's where I know you from. So it's a small world that I'm at this bow shop from a guy we met at the ATA.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it was.
So
awesome.
yeah, he got me cut and set up, and been shooting out here in Missouri, man. I tell you what, I love them, but I'm telling you, I'm only shooting quarter-size groups with 5 arrows. I want to shoot dime size. I don't know what Gerald can do for me.
Oh my goodness! I got.
But
You mean you're not splitting
they are
arrows?
Shooting phenomenal out of my setup.
I can't believe you're not splitting arrows.
Well, I'm trying not to. Is the problem? I don't want to have to keep getting new experiments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Dan, are you on your headphones or are you on your car?
No, I'm on the headset.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds really good. It's just really amplified, which is good. So
Okay.
it sounds better than your truck. I mean,
It just sounds like he's real excited.
yeah, he's excited for sure.
Well, my God, maybe I am real excited. I mean, it's an exciting time. Dave's in the studio.
Yeah,
It's exciting for Dave to come back.
it is. It sure is.
He knew I was coming, and he wanted to see me.
That's exactly right.
That's what it was.
That's it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
So a lot of people these days seem to not have time to hunt, not have time to get outdoors.
yeah.
The busy lifestyle that we live in, the fast-paced society that we're in, we're so busy with work, family, church, kids' sports, other extra things that you got going on in the family, and more people work more than one job. The 40-hour work week is kind of essentially gone in this day and time.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to work more than one job to get things taken care of in our economy and our days now that we're living in. So one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight is, how to fill in that gap and manage the things that you do, running a business and finding the time to get in the outdoors with your kids, with all the busy things that's going on in your life. So without further ado, please welcome with me NVGC contributor and pro staffer John Webb. How you doing, John?
What's up, buddy?
Woo! Oh, man.
Great, man. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. He's been sitting over there wanting to talk.
I want to talk forever,
Just
man.
introduce me so I can talk.
Yeah.
So
Hey, it's hard to get a word in edgewise with us, John.
Especially with Mike talking, man. I mean, I've known the guy for 20-plus years.
I talk a lot.
Yeah.
He talks a lot.
Yeah. I used to be totally different when I was younger. I didn't want to talk to nobody.
I was the same way.
I can't believe that.
Never.
And now I want to talk to
Cannot
everybody.
believe that about either one of you.
When I go out somewhere to eat or we go to like a shop or somewhere, like we're on vacation and I'm like talking to people and Rachel's like, God, come on.
Yeah, it gets me in trouble sometimes. She's like, that's stuff we got to do,
Yeah. But no, I love talking to people, especially older people that's experienced life and have wisdom and knowledge that I can learn from.
Yeah, that's where you learn your lessons
you
from.
don't ever want to stop learning. If you stop learning, in my opinion,
You're a fool.
You're done.
Yeah.
So
100%.
But anyways, John, so first off, give us just a little rundown on how you got started in the outdoors.
Well, I think the cool part about me is unlike some of you fellers, my dad was a great man, but he was not an outdoorsman. He liked his sports and stuff.
Yeah.
I was about
Mountaineer football.
yeah.
Old Dad loves Mountaineer football.
I was about 22, 23, and then I kind of just got the itch to want to do it, right? I work I'm a blue-collar guy. I work in the plumbing field. All those guys are hunting outdoors when they grew up doing that since they were kids. It's like a big deal. So kind of just started going out with them a little bit and then being like, man, I really like this is calling to me, right? Like, I feel like this is the person that I want to be.
Yeah.
And then really just, your help and, talking to, like you said, a lot of older hunters and older fishermen and stuff and really getting the stuff down, kind of taking a little bit from everybody and coming up with my own way of doing things. And I think to this point I've been very successful. I mean, you've seen some of the trophies I've been able to harvest and, the success I've been able to have on the water.
Yeah. Recently
too, yeah.
Catching big bass.
Especially in August, it's a pain in the
I got to
butt.
give a shout out to Maya, though.
Oh, God, here we go.
She got old Dad. Man, he sent me that picture of this bass, and I was like, oh, my God, that's like 6 pounds. It was really only like, what, 3.5?
Yeah, I think, it was about 3.5.
But it was a big bass.
It was a stud for August. I was really impressed.
For August,
really impressed with that,
3.5's big for August, yeah.
August is like shutdown mode for these bass. It's a pain in the butt to
Oh,
fish.
Yeah.
But, hey, I'd rather be fishing than doing anything else, right?
Yeah, especially with kids.
But no, it's just kind of a quick intro to how I became doing what I'm doing. Is just, and I think that's the cool part, is just anybody at any point in your life, 50, 60, whatever, right? Like, you can pick it up at any time. And that's the cool part about the hunting community and fishing community. I never felt the pressure, right? Like, I never felt the pressure that a lot of people say the industry has. But I think just being local in the state that we are, everybody's really into, seeing people kind of succeed and enjoy the outdoors. And I grabbed a hold of it, and I'm in love. Like,
Man, that's awesome.
You know what I mean? Here it's been 20-some years later, and I'm still in love.
Yeah. Now, that's the good thing about it. We always talk about, people that kind of get away from it for a little bit.
And that's okay.
But you always get back in it because it kind of draws you to it.
It does.
Yeah.
If you've ever had a taste of it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think a lot of it, man, is just getting out of, like, the grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Man.
We have to take that time to get out and let our minds just, be free in God's country.
Well, exactly. I mean,
Away
that's
from
just it's
absolutely.
I mean, you're a perfect example because you was telling me how it takes the stress off of you, and when you got back into the fishing part of it.
Oh, yeah.
You could feel it.
Yeah. Well, like we said, it's been like 4 years.
Yeah.
I had to jump in quickly into the family business as far as taking over.
Yeah.
My dad and his illness, and it's just consumed me. Mm-hmm. And then, I've gotten a second child that has been recruited all over the country. So that's every other weekend or better I'm doing that. And, family comes first. It is what comes first. I mean, but yeah, here recently, we got the boat out. We got it cleaned up.
Yep.
We've got it going the last couple months. We've hit it almost every weekend. And, man, yeah, that's what I was telling you. It's just like you know what I mean? It's hard to
Yeah.
explain until you experience it.
It
you know
is,
what I mean?
yeah.
Great, man.
It's
That's
just
great.
like, you're just in God's land, and you're it's like everything about the process is it's a beautiful thing, and man, it just relieves a lot of stress.
Yep. Dan sounds like he's in a spaceship.
I know.
I think,
What's
yeah.
that?
I said, you sound like you're in a spaceship now.
Beam me up, Dan.
I thought there for a minute I thought you had the windows down.
Oh, that was probably that truck that was passing me had a Jake brake going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you had indigestion. All right. Well, anyway.
Well, it could be that too. Who knows? But for those of you out there that don't know John, tell our listeners what your take on what blue collar is.
Blue collar, right? It's been my whole life.
Hard working.
Hard working.
That's right.
It's not just, working is the one thing, but I think even though a lot of us put so much emphasis on work because we're trying to provide that extra for our family. I remember my dad doing it. I didn't see my dad a lot when I was younger. And then after he got the business some more established, I started seeing him more and more. But I think blue collar is that, right? We're just the guys and the girls that are out there doing what it takes to provide for our family. In all honesty, we're not putting up with any crap, right? Yeah. Like, we do what we got to do, no matter what it takes away from us, just to provide for the people we love. I think that's probably the best way to explain what blue collar is,
Absolutely. Nailed it. Couldn't have said it much better myself, honestly.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. So we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back with John Webb after a word from our sponsors. This episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Faith Builders, LLC. Faith Builders, LLC is a Christian-owned and operated West Virginia construction company. Faith Builders is a shingle master through Certainteed Shingles. Faith Builders offers a 50-year non-prorated warranty. In addition to pitched roofs, Faith Builders also specializes in low-slope roofing for both commercial and residential, currently certified through Mule Hide Roofing Products. Give them a call today at 304-916-3033 and 304-474-3096, or visit them on their Facebook page. Faith Builders, LLC, brightening up the world one job at a time. 304-916-3033. All right, guys, so we're back here with John Webb talking about blue-collar life and outdoors and how you manage that. So, John, how is that working now since you're not as busy with the kids?
Like a lot of excitement. Honestly, a lot of excitement for me, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like I said, we do our best we can to put everybody in our family first. But once that need is met, you got to take some time for yourself. And I'm a big supporter in bringing the family into that. You know what I mean? We talk about it constantly. They are the next generation of the outdoorsmen and outdoors women. I spend a lot of time with my kids. You know me and my family life. We do a lot of things together. But for me, being outdoors, fishing, hunting, those sort of things, whether we harvest anything, catch anything, it's just those experiences that I know they've never forgotten and I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Those are ones that they're free. All they take is a little bit of time and just enjoy being out there, man. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, so Maya, she's not really been the one interested in the outdoors. It's mostly been J-Dub and Allie Jean.
Well, Allie Jean little, when she was smaller,
when she was little.
Okay, as she got older, around 12 or 13, which she's now 20, believe that or not, she's...
isn't that crazy?
I kind of getting to that point that I really don't want to do that, Dad. And then it's kind of weird because then Maya kind of funneled in more of a later teen of like, I really like the outdoors. I like kayaking, I like fishing, I like hunting. And she's the one I always laugh that she reminds me of me. Like, we can get out there at 5 a.m. and we can go till 10 o'clock at night and walk out. And she's totally good with that.
Yeah.
John Eric loves the outdoors, but he doesn't have the patience that Maya has. He's like that, if we're going fishing, he's done by noon guy. If we're going hunting, he's done by noon. That's just kind of his personality, and that's cool. And, I've had to learn as a father to adjust of how they all want to do things, And like I said, putting them first, that's made it easy. But, Maya has seemed to become more into it than really everybody, to be honest with you. I know,
Wow.
kind of surprising, but
That's awesome.
Yeah.
it just is.
Yeah, that's great. Before we jump into everything else here, I'm going to go ahead and hit our salute to Valor this evening. So tonight we're going to salute Brent Miller from Chesapeake, Ohio. He served for 3.5 years in the U.S. Navy and acquired the rank of E4. He was on the USS George Washington, CVN 73. He got out in June of '94. So he was in the Navy. Obviously, he was stationed on a ship, so that's pretty interesting. And we haven't really talked a lot about people on ships in our salutes here, so that's pretty cool to have one that's actually served on a actual ship. So just want to thank him for his service, and we appreciate it.
Yes, we do, very much so. My grandfather was a Navy man. So
Nice.
You need to get his information so we can salute him.
I know I need to, yeah.
I mean,
He's
just
great.
basic stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been going for a long time, but yeah, he was a gentleman that got to load those big old rounds up in the chambers on the battleships.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Crazy part is the man's ship got sunk, the rescue ship got sunk,
Oh my
Oh, my
gosh.
goodness.
and then the third ship, of course, made it. But yeah, crazy, totally crazy.
Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Wow. Yeah, definitely I want to know a little bit more about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a
not
great man.
awesome, but you know what I mean.
Well,
It's
you know-
interesting facts.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So,
No,
It is very interesting.
It's definitely interesting because the people that have that kind of, I guess, like we say salute to valor, the people that have that kind of valor to do those things is, man, it's just,
just to get up and keep doing it again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
yeah.
That's the thing.
again, back to the blue collar thing. I think it's the type of people you deal with.
Yeah.
when you say
Like,
blue
I'm not
collar.
going to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't take quitting. We love our country. Whether me, I got a big flag down my arm. I'm a huge supporter of the military. But there's a lot of us. There's a lot of people who can't do it because of their health reasons or whatnot, but they love this country just as much. And I think definitely that's a lot of blue collar people for sure.
for sure. I mean, it's a mixture of a lot of people, even though, they have those disabilities and things, but we sure appreciate it, and we want to salute them every chance we get.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
It's not just on Veterans Day. It's not just on the 4th of
all the
July.
time.
It's not just on Memorial
Every
Day.
day.
Yeah.
It's every day when we see somebody. I've seen people with veterans hats on, and I will say thank you for the service.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, well, thank you for your appreciation.
Yeah.
That's
Every
what they
time.
say.
Every
Yeah.
time.
So,
Yeah. See, I got a new thing now when somebody thanks me for mine. It's thanks for being somebody to serve for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good. So, John, with you owning your own business, now that you've taken over, you've had that transition period there. You've been in the business since you were 17, 18 years old.
I always laugh and say since I've been in diapers. But
Yeah,
yeah,
really.
I mean, ultimately, yeah.
Since you was a baby.
Since I was a baby.
You've seen Dad work it, and you've seen Dad do it, and
Yeah.
now it's time to hand over the baton, and you've got it, and you're running with it. So it's one of the main reasons that you've been out of the scene for the outdoors for a good bit.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 years.
So tell us how you've managed that now.
I think just, of course, that had to be the first focus, right? No longer.
Yeah, you got to keep that family business
I gotta
going.
keep that running, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pride behind that.
Yep.
I've payroll-wise 25 years on that, and like I said, every summer, every weekend that my dad needed me, I was there. So I got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that too, and it means a lot to me, and it's something that definitely not going to let fail. Going to succeed.
You all are celebrating 30 years
30
this year.
years this year, yeah, huge, right?
Wow, awesome.
Yeah,
That is huge.
Yeah, 30 years. That, especially nowadays, that's a big deal. And we've done, and I can honestly say that my dad and I being a part of it, we've always done it the right way. And I think it's the important part that he's always taught me. It doesn't take any more time to do it right than it does to do it the second time. So do it right. And if it's not right, you make it right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that
It's amazing.
I've used in every aspect, even in the hunting. I follow the rules. I follow the guidelines. I don't break the rules. It's just that gut feeling of not doing the right thing, right?
Well, yeah, it's a conscience.
Because it's not right. We all have the outdoors to enjoy together, and if people are out there destroying that, that's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
And then I might set a good example for the next generation or my kids. You know? And that's something I'm very prideful in. I mean, I'm not supposed to be prideful as Christians, but I'm prideful in trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, you want to glory in your kids, I mean, it's I don't really know how to explain it. Dave probably would better, but it's it's not a pride thing, but it's like it's like how God looks at us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When we're doing the right thing.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It goes right along with it.
I mean, you're not meaning it in like, a haughty, like,
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a perfect time for you to do your scripture of the day.
Is it?
Sounds like it.
There you go.
Hey.
Walked him right into that one.
Walked him right into
man,
it, son.
I tell you. Scripture of the day just nailed me.
Yeah, so he's going to have to pick from his devotional this morning.
There we go.
Where's that coming from, Dave? Is that going to be out of the Passion?
I hit him right on the spot.
It is going to be out of the
Scrambling.
Passion for
Scrambling.
sure. It is going to be out of the Passion, and guess what it's going to be? All right, here we go. All right, John 3:17.
Oh, I was going to say.
Where are
At least
you?
you went with John. That's what I'm talking about.
We got John on the podcast. This is what we're going to do tonight.
Okay,
Big
John
John.
17.
3:17.
3:17.
3:17. All right, this is out of the Passion. This is not out of the Passion. Dan, you got me all messed up. Okay, all right, now it's out of the Passion. God did not send his Son into the world to judge and condemn the world, but to be its Savior and rescue it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, so many people, man, that they think that, like, religion is all about, like, judging and pointing out your bad points and all this stuff. I'm telling you, God is just like a dad.
Total opposite.
Yep.
He's like a dad, man. He sees your strengths.
Yep.
He wants to build on it.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to
He
build.
wants good things.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, he wants us to prosper. He wants us to live in good health.
Absolutely.
He doesn't want you, not having just enough.
Yeah.
He wants you having more.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
So
Yeah. Whatever you want for your kids, multiply it by 100, and that's God.
And we're not
And more
saying
than
things
that.
don't happen.
Yeah.
We're not sitting on here saying things don't happen.
Yeah.
People's always like, "Oh, well, you always talk the best, and you always talk." You have to talk positive. You have to live in that positive mentality, because if you get over into the negativity,
Yeah.
you get ate up real fast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even
Sure.
in natural, right? I mean, it's statistically proven. You got to keep your mind right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that goes back to what we were talking about, the blue-collar atmosphere, right?
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, we may feel it sometimes, as guys. I mean, we feel the pressure. We do. It's hard. It's, 90% of us are some damn hard jobs.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And we're,
And long hours.
we're trying to do it a little.
Yep.
We're trying to do a little different than our parents did. Like I said, they weren't there as much until I was older, but it wasn't. Their priority was doing their job and working,
Taking care of the family.
We're doing those things, but we're trying to be there for the family.
Yeah.
We're trying to do that double duty, and I think at times it's really hard and really stressful. Which again, get outdoors.
Yeah.
Spend that Saturday. Man, look, it doesn't have to. That's what the biggest thing is. I think a lot of people feel like that. There is a lot of pressure with media and all those sort of things about if you're not killing this certain buck or you're not catching this biggest fish.
That's true.
You need to ignore all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you can go and spend 2 hours in the woods before you got to go do something, a soccer game or something,
Yes.
run and go take that time for yourself. It's very important.
That's awesome, man. I don't know how many great times I've had with my kids just watching a doe walk through the woods, man.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
So one of your favorite products is all your products. We use it camping all the time.
All the time.
Now you're not a camper because your camper got totaled, but
And now I'm a boater. Yeah.
he's a boater.
Yep. Now he's a boater.
Yeah. I was a boater. Yeah.
But I mean there's a good story behind that, because you got your camper during COVID and your truck basically at the same time,
Yes.
and you've got a smoking hot deal on the camper.
Yes. I did.
And when it got totaled, there's no way you could have replaced it with the same thing
no.
for what you had.
No.
So you were like, well, we're just going to start going boating.
Well, it really wasn't that easy a decision, right? Like, me and Mike are thinking, what do we want to do? But it's just getting to the point, like I said, I got a 20-year-old, I got a 17-year-old, I got a 16-year-old. Do they want to camp anymore with mom and dad?
Yeah.
No. So, again, I do for them first. What do y'all want to do? What do y'all want? We want a boat. Like, will you invite your friends when you spend more time with mom and dad? Yeah. So I bought a boat.
There you go.
And it really has worked out well. And we got
That's
a jet,
awesome.
got a jet ski also.
Yeah.
But it is just another way to get them out, right? Like out of the house,
Yeah.
outdoors.
yeah.
and still even at that at Bowden, I mean, there's still a lot of nature you see. You see, like we was out there the other night, right? We was out and the bait fish are jumping. Trevor's looking at him. Everybody's talking about, hey man, the bass are gonna be fired up here soon. I mean, that's kind of the cool part about it, right?
Yeah, it gets people fired up.
Gets people fired up, and even being on the river, you're seeing the wildlife and stuff, and it's really cool to talk.
I know
about.
Alex likes to be on the river.
Yeah, she spends a lot of time with us on the boat. Yeah.
She comes home, she's like, I was on the river today. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
I got to get a boat.
So back to hunting stuff. What's your favorite season, John?
Favorite season? That's a tough one.
Deer season.
I would have to say bow season, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the duck hunt. We're not going to talk about how much I love it, but I think we're just in that state. We're just in that state that it's really hard.
It is.
And like I said, you got to dedicate some serious time. Shout out to Greg Hicks, people like that, dedicate serious time into that.
Greg does.
Oh, Lord, yes.
And he's very successful with it, but it's so hard to do here, So I think that you have to go to bow hunting. It's to the point.
Okay.
It's to the point now that I honestly almost don't even like rifle.
Really?
Like if it's like not for me at this point, if it's not a deer that I'm going to put on the wall unless I'm with the kids, I am not taking that deer. Or we have people at church who love the deer meat, and I will drop some does and bring it to them. But I'd rather have that bow in my hand, man. It's just like it's a totally different feeling for anybody who hasn't bow hunted.
Yeah.
And it's still one of those things that, you can buy used or talk to your buddies, or, you can go up to Cabela's and get the Laurel line of the diamonds and stuff, around $500, probably get out of there for about $600 for everything. Mm-hmm. If you can do it, I suggest doing it because it's just a totally different beast. And it's just the feeling of bow hunting is unlike probably anything, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. The rush of the whole ordeal.
Yeah, exactly.
I still get, the shakes and everything on the doe, even though I know I'm not shooting that one.
Yeah, that's me.
It's like, oh man, it's coming so close. It's right there. It's like, wow.
Well, it's just like me with this recurve. I haven't shot a recurve in probably 18 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But I want to get back into it. I've never owned a recurve, so this is my first recurve that I bought, and thankful to Stick Tamer for helping us out with the products that they do to put on this bow and to make it quiet to where we can get them animals closer, because I want a doe within 10 yards and I'm going to smack her.
Well, that you don't want that thing.
That's right.
You don't want that thing dipping on you really
No,
hard.
I don't.
This is not shooting as fast as a common bow, right?
I've got 50-pound pole on this bow.
You need to be quiet.
And, you've only got, maybe you only really need about 40, 45 pounds to get the job done if you're close.
Yeah.
And you got a good broadhead. But I'm excited about it.
So would you ever attempt a turkey with your bow?
Well, funny story, right?
Yeah.
I have, if you go back and look back in the day when I was really into all this, prior to I'm getting back into everything really strong. But went hog hunting one time.
Okay.
Took a hog on the ground with my bow.
Nice.
Nice.
I was really hyped about it, but then I went with a friend of mine, and we were still, had a 45 on my side stuff. They're a really aggressive animal, and I don't, being on the ground with these things. And he had missed one, and it come up out of this rooted tree right after us, and I was like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're already out there. You've already went 5 miles up in the freaking holler and up on top of a hill. But anyways, we got blessed with a set to come up over the hill, and then I was able to hit one about 3 from the back of about 30 yards, and it dropped about 30 yards later. It was an amazing experience.
That's awesome.
So if I ever hunt a turkey with a bow, I would. Yeah,
you would try it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that like Mike has kind of got into a little bit of bow fishing. I think anything with a bow is just, I don't know. I think it's just
you.
It's a more exhilarating experience, right? It's like it's a little bit harder.
It is harder.
I'm not knocking gun people out there.
No, I love rifle season. That's what I grew up doing.
Guns and everything else,
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. It's just a whole lot more that goes into bow hunting.
There is. There's a whole lot of skill.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's more skill that goes into it, I think.
Yeah. A whole lot more skill, a whole lot more patience, right?
Yeah.
And some frustration.
I know.
Moving. I've moved stands this ridge, that ridge, this ridge, and the daggone things at a different place every time.
I tell you what, man,
kind of the cool part about it.
I have pulled back on deer before and held it 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, that's the good thing about our compounds.
Compounds, yeah.
You got that let off, and you can do that.
You can hold it for a while.
With the new compounds,
Just recurve it, it's not going to happen.
You can't do that with the recurve.
Yeah.
You want that. You want that thing in at 10 yards. You're going to pull back, get on, and done. You know, you're releasing. So that's one thing with a recurve is like you have to know your yardages pretty well. So that's why I'm not going to go over 15 probably, because I want to start out practicing at 5, 10, and 15. Because when you pull this thing back, you're setting it with your eye and releasing it. There's no like waiting till you're on the target.
Waiting, sighting in.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, your kids have done it. Mine have done it. They've shot archery that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Competing in school.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is.
John, I just started shooting my compound, and he was like, it took him a while to get used to that, and it's hard for me to imagine not shooting a compound.
Yeah.
But no, he started shooting it, and he's like, this is totally different. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It didn't take him long to dial it in, which thank God for modern technology, right? You know? I mean, it makes it a little bit easier for us, which is what you're looking for, you know. If you are still hunting with a recurve, you know, I'm hoping that you're putting the practice in that's needed to harvest that animal in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And that's why,
absolutely.
you know, that's really what it's about, and that's really what I've taught my kids is there's many times that I've pulled off because I can't, it's not a safe shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the shot where that's when I get back to that, just doing what's right. You know?
Yeah. That's
all.
good.
Yeah.
That's really
You
good.
know, speaking of your kids there, you know, we've been talking about you getting the time to get back in the outdoors. I know you and your son, John Eric's been hitting the water a lot here recently. How's that feel to get back out in the outdoors and spend the time with him and all that and fishing? And what's been working for you guys this year? What rigs been working? What's your favorite rigs?
Man, you know, getting back out there with your kids is a feeling that you can't buy, right? Like, you know, people talk about being on these highs, right? And my dad always told me there's never a high like living your life, right? And seeing your kids achieve things and do things. And being out there with him, you know, it has been a great experience. He's really taken it this year and learned a lot, watched a lot of videos. Like, he's getting into buying different setups, different rods, different reels for the different techniques. Like, he's really putting in the work to learn how to enjoy and love the sport of fishing. But I'd say, man, we've been going about everything. We've been hitting a little frog. We've been hitting a little spinners. We've been hitting some chatterbaits. I'd say, of course, the most successful is when it comes down to it. It always is what it is, right? It's a Texas rig with a
I love a Texas rig
with a red shag worm. You know,
Maya caught that big bass
big
on,
one on
on
that.
Texas rig, and it was like what, a 6-7 inch worm.
Yep, red shad,
Right.
6-inch worm. I mean, it's.
I've always heard the bigger the worm, the bigger the fish.
Well, I think too, it's just, you know, getting back out to anybody who wants to get out there and do it. You know, Texas rigging is a really easy thing to do.
It is.
It's a great bait to throw everywhere, right? You can throw it in
Yeah.
rocks, you can throw it in timber, you can throw it on grass lines, you can throw it in shallows.
Yeah.
And then just you can learn how to work with that bait. You know, there's so many different techniques with it. And
Yeah.
It's just always a winner.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can drop shot off of that also if you want.
Yeah.
To, you know,
You always have those baits and those rigs that's your go to if you can't find anything that works.
Texas is mine.
Mine
Oh, yeah.
is a Lucky Strike, and it's a 4-inch worm
yeah,
with a curl tail,
tail on it. Yeah, yeah.
black, straight black.
Nice.
If I
Awesome.
ain't catching anything on everything else that I've tried, I can always go back to that and I'll catch something.
Man, I've been using this Zoom old monster. This sucker's a 10-inch worm, man.
Oh,
Good
They
Lord.
hit that crap.
Yeah, wait a
Wow.
minute. Wait a minute. I was out with you one time. You pulled out one of those suckers.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this thing?
looking like a snake.
You look like a big old
Yeah.
snake.
Yeah.
Caught some fish with it.
Yeah, it's funny. So we did that youth day shoot down at Eleanor a couple weeks back. You know, Carter won a brand new tackle box. You know, just a little cheap Plano plastic tackle box. That boy got so excited about it. I took him out Sunday. He wanted to get some. Saturday, I guess it was. Took him out Saturday. He wanted to fill his tackle box.
Yeah.
I let him go through and pick whatever he wanted. You know, he picked him a big old frog, topwater frog, and I got him some catfish stuff. He was just so ecstatic about it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's great to see that with our kids, man.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, man, he's going to remember that all his life.
And believe
Oh,
me,
yeah.
and believe me,
Yeah,
they do.
and then of course, we went down to the club Sunday or Monday, and he's all excited about fishing. He threw it out 5 times. Okay, I'm going to play with the kids.
Yeah.
But you know what? He'd come back, he'd throw it out again, and he did take off with his other fishing pole and took his frog with him, and he was throwing it all over the place.
That boy was so excited to be in the outdoors and fishing, he didn't even eat that day.
Yeah, that's right.
They come over to the house the other night, and he said he had said something, and I was like, "You haven't eaten anything today?" And he's like, "Nope." And I'm like, "That's because you were too busy fishing."
Hey, I can tell you as a full-grown man, I do that.
I do too.
Like, I'll pack some
I do
stuff,
too.
but
Yeah,
honestly,
absolutely.
I can get lost.
Yeah, he has a blast down there.
So that's what he done, man, and I think it's so awesome. He got lost in the outdoors, and it was just like he didn't even care.
Yeah.
But when things started winding down, he was like, "I need some food."
Yeah.
Yeah, you do reach that hangry point.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it finally hit him that he was hungry after he jumped in your pool.
Yeah. He got a little cold, and he was like, "I got a headache." I was like, "Yeah, that's what it was." He said he had a headache, and I was like, "Well, what'd you eat today?" He was like, "Nothing."
Well, there you go.
I was like, "Well, that's why you got a headache." And I was like, "You was too excited to be in the outdoors, wasn't you?"
That's normally how.
Yeah, he was having fun running around with them kids down there, and there's about 4 of them boys running around throwing stuff at the pond, trying their luck, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, they had a blast.
So, you was saying, like, get outdoors. And we were talking about Sawyer Products. That's one of Sawyer Products' biggest tags is we keep you outdoors.
Keep you outdoors. And believe me, they do. Listen, I was down in Florida, like, again, Maya and her recruitment, and she finally committed to a school down in Florida, and we were down there kayaking. Again, we love the outdoors, right? So we're kayaking. They're taking us back in these overgrowth areas. And, I mean, I'm telling you what, there's mosquitoes. These things are the size of fighter jets. You can hear them coming in. Yeah, thank God my guide, he was from Wheeling, West Virginia, and when we got there, he was like, "Oh, you want some bug repellent?" I said, "Well, yes, sir." Well, he had Sawyer, and I was like, "I know I'm covered."
Yeah,
and I'm not kidding you. Everybody else
It's the
was
best.
going crazy and flipping out, and I've got it on my ears and my face. Didn't touch me.
That's awesome.
And we've been using it for years.
And it doesn't have the nasty smell.
No, you don't have a nasty smell. You don't have to apply a whole bunch of times. You don't have that greasy feeling behind it. I actually keep the smaller sprays in the tackle box. I keep the other ones in the door of the truck.
Yep.
They're in my wife's car. They're in the kids' car. Maya in soccer uses it with sweating and everything. Like,
yeah.
It's a fantastic product.
And one thing they offer is it's a synthetic version of Picardin. Or Picardin, however you say it. But they don't have they do offer DEET for those that like the extra, maximum, stuff. But some people don't want to use DEET. Some people don't even want to put it on their body. No. And it takes them away from all the other brands like Off and stuff like that. They don't want to use it.
Yeah.
So they do offer that, but they have that alternative that's that synthetic version of the Picardin plant.
Which I've never had a problem with.
I haven't either. It naturally keeps the mosquitoes, the black flies, the regular flies, and the ticks and all that stuff away. So it's great stuff.
So since she's going to school down there, are you going to get one of them Florida bass?
Listen. I want to try really bad. Allie Jean's been down there. She's a junior now in St. Augustine, and then Maya's going to be in West Palm next year. So definitely, I want to get down there. Micah, Micah loves to fish. She's not much into the hunting, but she loves fishing.
Yeah.
So we have been definitely talking about that. She wants to get out on a charter or something and get some deep sea fishing done. And now that we're going to be spending a lot more time down there, and I'm not, I got things under control. My life and the business and everything is a little bit better. I think we're going to get a chance to do it.
Nice.
Nice. I'm gonna get you hooked up with Flatwater Outfitters that does that fishing charters down there in Florida.
Yeah, we were just
so they also do Florida and St. Simon's Island. We've done it at St. Simon's Island.
Yeah,
the utmost professional dude. I mean, he's an ex law enforcement guy down there in Georgia. His dad worked for the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center down there in Georgia.
Yeah,
so his dad spent 30 some years there. So, man, his whole family's been in law enforcement. But
I'm definitely up for supporting that.
They did his dad had always had this business on the side. And after, he had worked there at Glenn County Sheriff's Department for a while, he was like, I really love doing this because he started helping his dad out, and he was like, I really enjoy this, so I'm going to make this my full-time job. He knew Dad was getting ready to retire. He could help him out every now and then, so he stopped. He retired or left the sheriff's department and started doing this full-time, and it's just flourished ever since. So he does it in Georgia, right there off Brunswick, the Intercoastal Waterway, and St. Simon's Island, and he also goes and stays in Florida and does it in Florida for like 3 weeks. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's cool. I need to set one of those up.
Yep.
For sure.
I'll get you in contact with him. Well, John, man, we sure appreciate you coming on.
Well, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Hyped to be here.
Yeah.
You guys have done a fantastic job, and me and you've been friends for 20-plus years. And,
Yep.
I appreciate you having me on here, man. It means a lot.
Yep. Sure thing, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We just premiered John's ad for Webb Plumbing this evening, so be sure and go check out webbplumbing.net if you need any plumbing with your residential or commercial property. I mean, they do both. So they're more heavily into the commercial stuff, but they also have a crew that does their residential property. So if you guys need anything like that, be sure and go check them out. John, we sure appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you guys, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. So, all right, guys. Well, be sure to check us out on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. Oh, we already mentioned that, but I'll mention it again.
Oh, okay, my bad.
we ended up putting that in the beginning, so we don't forget.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm trying to be diligent.
But no, you're good. So make sure you go and check out all of our partners there. You can use Podcast 10 at checkout for outdoor-pro-shop.com. You can use On the Limb at checkout for apparitionsense.com and get 20% off. You can use Podcast 15 at naturesvoicegamecalls.com and get 15% off of your entire order there. So, again, we appreciate all of our partners for their discounts for our listeners. And go check us out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, and wherever you get your podcasts, we're there. So, thanks, Dan, again. As always, it's a pleasure having you on your way out to Missouri.
Thanks, Dan.
Absolutely.
And it was good having Dave in.
Woohoo! Dave made it.
Yeah, finally having Dave back. It was great to have Dave back.
Oh, man.
Finally had Dave back.
Yay.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Y'all have a great evening. This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Longspur Tracking and Outfitting. Longspur has 28 trackers covering 9 states: West Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Illinois, and Iowa. Check them out for all your tracking needs on their Facebook page or visit them at www.whitetaildeertracking.com. Or contact them today at 304-439-1659. Longspur Tracking and Outfitting. www.whitetaildeertracking.com or 304-439-1659. Contact them today.